SBA EIDL Loan increased news and updates, the reconsideration, the appeals, what will be happening in the future, as well as I want to cover the 8+ bank statement issues that I keep seeing every single day, and how you can go ahead and avoid these and fix them if need be. PPP loans, employee retention credit, grant opportunities up to 10 billion plus, how to find them, and so much more I'm going to be giving you in this video. So please stick with me until the very end. Appreciate you all for being here. Let me know if you're watching right now in the live with the hashtag live, or on the replay with the hashtag replay, excuse me. And this is streaming right now on the TikTok platform, and I may upload it to YouTube, so perhaps that's where you're watching it later. Now, this is a very important topic on the 8+ bank statement issues. Now, I won't go into all of them very thoroughly. I have my document on the screen that I'm going to use as guidelines, and I'm going to go on about these 8. But I created a separate video on the 8 bank statement issues that I keep seeing in the underwriting process, and even before we started the application. So make sure to look down below in the description to watch the full 8 bank statement issues. In this one, I'm going to just kind of go through them quickly, but I'm also going to go into like what I'm seeing with certain examples, like what kind of deposits are these, what is the starting and ending bank balance, because I've been getting a lot of clients lately who do not qualify for these SBA loans, even faster loans like merchant cash advances, unsecured term loans, lines of credits, and I'm going to cover that more in depth than these 8 bank statement issues. So make sure, again, if you're going to want to know what those 8 bank statement issues are, you look down below in the description. I can't emphasize that enough. So, EIDL loan news. Not a lot is happening. I know I spoke about this just the other day and I released a live. There's still a lot of talks. Not sure about whether it'll open up in the new year or if it will ever open up again, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get fixed with the people who are still in the increase step. Those of you who are stuck in the queue who need to be reconsidered. So there's a whole lot with the 4506T form and other documents that you'll want to have ready. Even if the portal, even if you didn't qualify, you'll want to have your documentation ready to go. That's what I say. The best thing you can do for yourself is stay prepared. So that's what I'm going to leave on with the EIDL loan. I'm not going to get into it too much. There's not really much to discuss besides what I've already spoken about. PPP loans, not a whole lot happening there. Again, like I've said before, just the forgivenesses. Be careful of what you're doing and using your funds for. The employee retention tax credit, that's one where you can get up to $26,000 per employee as a refundable tax credit, not a loan, so you don't have to pay it back. A lot of people are getting funding through me within that program, and it's working exceptionally well. I know what's happening there. Grant opportunities, I'll try to cover that a little bit towards the end, but you can do a quick search on Google with SSBCI and then next to it your state, and you'll get a lot of different organizations within the Treasury Department. Now let me come to the comment section here. Hey, how are you doing? Happy to see you again. Yeah, I'll have more information on the 10 billion primarily because it's overwritten on the 6 billion. Those are a combination of loans, grants, and equity. So if you just see loans right now, it's possibly because they haven't released the grant opportunities yet, and there might not be an abundant amount like other states have. Other states may have like 10 to 15 and above. Others may have not released that. They just probably released a bunch of business loans. And again, that 6 billion was a part of that other COVID relief bill, and perhaps they haven't been pushed within your state. So you guys have to be patient. Just because you guys didn't find it in your state, don't become complacent about it. So it'll be in there in time. Let me come down here. Charlie, how are you doing? Yes, I have said this in another video, I believe it was yesterday, about veterans, an opportunity to get SBA loans. Yeah, of any magnitude. However, each SBA loan has different qualifications. And so EIDL is different to the SBA 7A, to the 504, to the 8A mentorship program, which is not a loan program. You have the SBA microloans, you have the SBA Community Advantage program. So the microloans and Advantage programs are two really ones that have been helping a lot with veterans. But when it comes to the other forms, you just have to meet the criteria. You need the right qualification. So whether you're a veteran or not, that can help. Yes, and that's the reason why I advance money now, because the distribution, and there's a lot of stuff that's holding it back. Like kind of like the supply chain issues. You're seeing a similar format to what the grants are doing right now, how they're being pushed out, and they're kind of weighing our economy right now. That's what they're doing. They're seeing, okay, this has happened now. The interest rates have increased. They've climbed. Are we going to have another surge? When should we release these grants? And that's a bit of a predicament on that. Got it. I'd say they're the same. They're legit, yes. And I'd say it's a bit different because you're looking at different community organizations. So you may have seen like Hello Skip or Hello Alice, and that's just a few of the grant opportunities that you may not see reflected within these other community programs. So it could be easy, it could be the same thing, and it could be different. I've seen it like that. Hi, Bar, how are you doing? Like I said before in the past, don't expect grant opportunities to be easy to get into. When you say impossible, that's pretty much close to it. A lot of people fall in love with hearing, oh, this is the latest grant opportunity, and you find out it's not easy to get in, or you've applied too late, and there's just two contestants with the prize winner of this, and then the other one gets a lower amount. So it's really sporadic, and it attracts a lot of attention. I don't like releasing a lot of content on it. I have a document with all the latest grant opportunities, but I'm going to just leave it at that for this topic. And I want to get into these bank statement issues that I've been seeing. So over here, I have a few past clients. I can't get into their exact numbers. I'm not going to disclose that information. That's very private. But I'm going to use this as a guide just to go into like what you guys shouldn't be doing within your bank statements and why it's holding you guys back from getting funding. I'll answer any questions in a little bit, but I have to get moving on this. Now, I have bank statements in front of me that I'm looking at from certain clients, and I've kind of compared, contrasted a few of them together. I've seen ones that weren't accepted and why this one wasn't as opposed to this one, or why they were the same thing. And I'm seeing a lot of people, specifically in one industry. I won't say that just yet, but it can happen in multiples if you're not careful. And so the case with one of these, as well as many, it's not just one person, there are multiple, so I'm not singling one person out. This isn't necessarily quote-unquote bad behavior. But in these bank statements from the very top, I can see right here your business's name. This is from you. I see everything given to me. And then over here, I can see the beginning bank balance. I see the deposits and the additions, the checks that are paid, the ATM and debit card withdrawals, electronic withdrawals, and then the ending balance before I then get in to see what those kinds of deposits and additions, withdrawals, debited and credited are. So I can already see a summary, and it depends on your banking, so it'll be different for each and every one of them. Sometimes there's a little bit of information that you can't find, so I have to dig in a little bit deeper, and then I'll do some numbers and some math on my end to see more. If there's not an average daily bank balance that shows me in this, I can do the numbers on that myself. Average daily sales perhaps, and a few other things that I'm not going to get into at this time. But one thing that is alarming with a certain individuals, and there's kind of 3 or 4 of these that happened lately, so I'm not singling out one specific person and I'm saying a name here, but like I was given about 12 months of the recent bank statements, or 6 months or 3 months, and what I've noticed, usually it's been at the beginning of the year, like right when we were getting over that hump of COVID, like beginning of January, February. I wouldn't say extremely over that hump, but when we transitioned into the new year, I started seeing a lot of business owners who were still struggling. They were still struggling to keep the amount of money that they deposited in their account to be higher than what they withdrew. So I see a lot of people in the beginning years, especially that right now, because it's summer. Summer is kind of like picked up for a lot of businesses, especially in the construction industry. That's one of many, but time. Sorry if I lost connection there. I'm gonna move this over here, see if that works. Okay. But what I'm seeing a lot more of is too many withdrawals, more withdrawals than there have been deposits in the month. So for one example, I can say somebody did 400,000 in deposits and additions for that month, but they withdrew over 400,000. They probably withdrew 500,000-600,000. That doesn't look good. You're withdrawing more. Whoever you're paying, whatever you need to do, maybe it's payroll issues or other things with with cash flow, business expenses. The thing is, we want to see more being deposited into your account than what is being withdrawn. So I've seen a lot of business owners, like I said, more in the beginning of this year, who took a lot more ATM and debit card withdrawals than they did when they deposited. And they took out a lot more than what they deposited in terms of the instances, and then as well as the amount. So how many times they deposited, how many times did they withdraw. And then I'm seeing ending bank balances usually at the beginning of the year that fluctuated. So let me come over here to the comments. I know many of you here got it. Okay, and I'll come back to you guys so I can answer anything. But I want to keep going into the flow of this. And if you guys are finding value out of this and you feel somebody else will, I would appreciate you if you shared it with others, because I'm going to go on for a little bit more and they're going to get this help, this education that they need, and not come time to application and they go through someone else only to find out that they were declined and they're wondering, and then now they come back to me or they come to me already, and then I'm sorting all these problems out. I just had to shut down a few people who were making over 2 to 3 million a month. But because of something happened in the deposits, the lenders are not taking a chance on it. And I'm going to get into that in a second. But I'm seeing the withdrawals, if they're bigger than the deposits, you usually will get declined for funding, especially if we look at a smaller sample of like about 3 months of bank statements. Even if it's 6 months, it helps. But if it's just most recent, like we look at those most recent 3 months at least, or 4 months, we're going to say, hey, you just had a lot of withdrawals this month. Now I'm going to look and see what kind of withdrawals you made, and I'll go through all the deposits and additions, and then I'll go into the other forms so I can see what's been going in and out of the account and make a better assessment of what you are actually doing in your business and what you can do differently. Is the next part, is what I will help you with, is improve on. And if there's anything to improve on, what you have to change about your business, how you have to deposit. And so I'm seeing the withdrawals there. Okay, checks paid, not too bad. And for this month, they kept their withdrawals way lower than what they deposited. So that's very good. Their beginning balance was a lot more than what their ending bank balance is, which is okay. You a lot of the times end up having less of an ending bank balance because of all the deposits and withdrawals you're making. If you're making more deposits than you are withdrawing, yeah, you can achieve having more of an ending bank balance. And I'm seeing more things like average daily bank balances, and quite a few things. Those numbers look high enough. If you're keeping, you're doing millions upon millions, and you're doing way above 10, 20, 30, 40 plus thousand deposits, even better. Or an average daily bank balance, I should say. I'm not going to say the exact amount here, but I will say what will get you declined when we look at these and we calculate your average daily bank balance, and if it's not easy to see, if you're having less than 1,000, that looks like a negative. That can get you disqualified for funding. You have a negative bank balance. Negative average daily bank balance. It's just underneath 1,000. That is what a lot of lenders will look at and say, well, we can't work with you if you're only keeping $100 to $200 in your average daily bank balance. What is happening here? You're not generating as much sales. You've went backwards. You're giving up more than what you keep. We can't afford to give you more than what you can keep in your accounts. You're only keeping 1,000 at a minimum. We can only lend you a few amount. And we can't expect you to have this huger repayment or better monthly repayment because you're keeping a minimum average daily bank balance. And so these are the components. And one quick example, like how I can determine what daily sales you get, average daily sales. I can do my numbers on that. But one way of me seeing it too, as well, as if you get a specific daily payment of, let's say, $150 a day, you're probably making upwards of $1,200 or $1,000 to $1,200 or $1,000 to $1,300 in daily sales. And so $150 repayment on that amount, and if it's not fluctuating, gives you more than enough reason to be able to make the payments back on the funding program. And so there's a lot more that goes into this than just the repayment, but I will say that. And over here I'm seeing the instances, the amount. One thing that does stand out to me that a lender will not want, and I've seen this situation a lot, especially, this is not only one person, but I see this specifically in like car dealerships, mechanic repair shops, used auto sales. You have to be generating a good amount of income and a good amount of revenue to be able to be sufficient and be able to get the right type of funding for these programs. Otherwise, we won't look at it. Used auto sales, you should be doing north of 100 to 200,000 primarily to get you anything even considered for, because that's such a sporadic industry. So over here, what I'm seeing, it was already a red flag when I saw this. I'm seeing the deposits and the additions. The amount that they made in deposits was one thing, and the additions, as well as the deposits for online transfers. So I'm seeing things on bank statements like online transfers from, and then checking, and then I see the transaction number, and I see the file there. And what happens is a lender can't usually easily verify where this is coming from. Sometimes they can. You can tell us that you have a vendor, this is how you get paid. Yeah, we have vendors that we get paid from. This is the way we're supposed to. We deposit it by them electronically sending us through their checking account. We get it from theirs, and that's perhaps what you're doing. That's one way. There's a few multiple ways of doing it. Maybe you're transferring from checking to savings. That's a bit different, and we have to understand that. But if you're with all these vendors, you have to find the way to transfer money directly into your business checking account. I know you get paid different, but what it looks like to a lender and myself, it looks like you're manipulating your bank statements. Not that you are, like you're not really manipulating it, like you're not being untruthful. It's not what I'm saying. It looks manipulating because you have all of these deposits, and now if we took out the online transfers from checking or wherever it's coming from, whatever vendors, however you get paid from them, and we just saw the ACH, checks, cash, electronic wires, etc., then yeah, we can see, okay, you probably did, let's say you did $5 million a year, but taking away the online transfers, that probably leaves you with $3 million considering ACH checks and those other deposits. Okay, that's still plenty of it. It's only $2 million, but $2 million's a lot. Even if it were a minimal amount of let's say like $300,000 for the whole given year that was just from transfers like that, a lender will not want to take the risk with you. A lender is not going to say, hey, even though they're not going to go like that. I would think of it like that in the beginning, I did, but because I've done this so much and I've seen it, those online transfers from checking and then number, boom, boom, I see the amounts. The more, it doesn't look good. Even if it is one or two, it just shows us, and it's not considered organic deposits. It's not true deposits, everyone. If it's an online transfer from checking, it is not considered a true organic deposit, meaning we don't count that as stated revenue. It doesn't go into the total amount per month, per year of what you made. And it can't be considered when you go and go apply for business funding. So this is one major haul, one big setback for a lot of business owners. I've had to shut down millions upon millions of business owners who do that per month. If it's not even per month, 100,000s, even less than 100,000. I have to turn these files down, and I give them another recommendation. You know what I would say to somebody who is transferring this amount? First, can you fix this? Can you get a workaround where you're completely depositing it into one primary business checking account? You can have different banks. Maybe you're wire transferring from one bank to another. It's your own business checking to business checking, not personal to business. That won't count. If you're transferring from personal to business, that's not counted as organic, true, stated revenue, which means we don't factor those personal transfers to your business checking as organic revenue. So don't do that anymore. Get a business checking account, but if you can use a personal account, those are only for like self-employed, 1099, independent contractors, gig worker funding. You only get 20 to 25% of your average or your lowest monthly revenue. And I see a lot of people who come and apply who are doing 50,000 and above, and it's a shame that they only have a personal account, or they're doing 15,000 and above. They can qualify for better funding, better rates, but because they don't have a business checking account, and then that's only one part. And then I get a lot of people who complain, well, oh, it's not right. Like, well, yes, it is. This isn't the wild, wild west. If you have insufficient funds, chargebacks, bounce checks, those are just some. I haven't named all of them. You have negative days. Sometimes you can get up to 5 negative days in the last 30 days, in the last 90 days, I should say. And then sometimes 1 negative day in the last 90 days won't be good. And they'll say, we're going to turn down your file, especially, here's one other thing, like, you don't want to have any negative days at least within the last 3 months. Yes, sometimes you can have up to 5, sometimes just 3 out of 5. And even if you have those negative days, your average daily bank balance better be high enough to cover those negative day mistakes. So if your average daily bank balance is not high enough, but we see 3 or 4, or just 3 or less than 3 negative days, we're not considering your file. And we see this, sorry, we can't. You're not going to be able to repay us back. Or you may think you will, but what happens when a truck breaks down? What happens when you need a new tire? What happens when you don't get that contract? What happens when you weren't able to produce that type of steel in your manufacturing facility? There are a lot of scenarios, and then you have a lot of debt you're using that money for. That's not what we want you to see all of that money going towards, maybe 50% of it to pay off any kind of debt, then consolidate, refinance situations. So over here, by the way, this stuff does not get past me. If you guys are thinking of I'm going to be fraudulent, I'm going to be... by the way, if you're a part of my email broadcasts, those of you who are new to my channel, if you guys go to the bio, you guys can pick up any free resources that I have. The one thing that I would recommend is start with the questionnaire at the very top. I'm going to then evaluate it, analyze it, and give you a proper response back via email. You can trust me on that. And then what I see, I'm going to send, I already broadcasted it. I already put this in the broadcast for 5 p.m. today. So if you're in my email sequence, and if you're not, you will want to. I'm going to send you guys an email on something with feedback. And the truth may hurt you, but you will learn to appreciate it. That's all I will say. So if you're not a part of the broadcast, you're not a part of my email sequence, you will want to get on top of that, because today at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is what I have. Yours will probably be 8 o'clock or Central or anywhere else where you are, Mountain Pacific. You will get this email where it's going to be hurting you, but it's tough love. It's because I love you. I appreciate you as a person first. Business comes second. It can come last. And if you just glance over that email, but you're making all the mistakes that I point out in that, shame on you. And I don't want to waste my energy and time with you. So I would open up that email. When I broadcast it, I already put it together. I spent a good 30 to 40 minutes putting it together for you guys. It's in depth. And it's like all about feedback. It's a certain type of feedback that if I don't get it, don't waste my energy and time. Like I say it from the very beginning. This is how the process works. I may need some feedback every now and then at these parts. Will you be able to give me that in time? No. Or, no, I'm going to need a week. I'm going to go on vacation. Yeah, okay. I'll make note of that. But don't go ghost. Unless you want to deal with spammers and scammers and people out there who are just trying to mislead you. Be my guest. You don't want an expert who can help you. That's fine. No more words need to be spent on you. So over here, I'm seeing a lot of online transfers. I'm going through their electronic withdrawals, which is similar circumstances with their online transfers, and it amounts to a lot of total electronic withdrawals. So even if it were a very minimal amount, less than 100, less than 50,000, considering that they're online transfers, it doesn't give you a proper evaluation of somebody's business in terms of business expenses. When we calculate all this with profitability is another factor, and we can again subtract that and exclude that and just see everything else. But over here, I'm seeing their daily ending bank balances, which are rather low, but when we take the whole average, it's a bit different. With that, there's a few huge numbers in there, but a lot more that are less than desirable. So that speaks to volumes of how much is actually going out of somebody's account and what is actually being deposited on a consistent basis. And so I'm seeing less of the fees as a factor, but I'm seeing total service charges. I already went through all this, and I looked through a lot of different people's bank statements, and I compared one with another person who not too long ago. He'll likely be coming back. I told him what to do. But he was also depositing online transfers the way he was doing it, the way he got paid with his vendors, or that money wasn't verifiable. We didn't like that because it didn't count as true organic deposits, and the lender will turn that down right away, no matter if we excluded that. And the only thing you can do is honestly try to go for a personal loan. If you're that person who's doing those online transfers, a personal loan right away is what I would recommend. I told that person yesterday, like one of many I did. Yesterday, I sent him an email. I analyzed his bank statements because he wanted me to before we started an application anywhere. I said, truth is this. And he didn't like my response. I saw the first sentence he wrote to me, but that's being ignorant. That's being, oh, well, I'm entitled. Oh, that's feeling like, oh, well, I deserve. And what if this? What if that? Well, if you don't value the answer I gave you, then I don't need to give you another email back. So I will email them out of respect and just to be a little bit more educational on how this works moving forward. But they were thinking I didn't give them enough information. Yeah, I did. You probably didn't see the right videos on this. There's a lot of videos. I have 8 bank statement issues of a video like that again, I'm linking to you guys when you guys watch this on YouTube, if it's there, in the description. So don't say you didn't see it. Not because I didn't mention it in a video doesn't mean it's not there. I won't always mention the 8 bank statement issues you should be withdrawing and wiring. Like, I can't do that in every video. If you guys had that expectation of me, we would be spending 3-4 hours on, and I don't have that energy and time to be spending all the time. And so over here, now let me go into those 8 bank statement issues rather quickly, and then we will try to close up shop here, and I'll try to go to the comments. So 8 bank statement issues, and I have a separate video where I go into this in more depth and what you should expect. Number 1, that is revenue. So all 3, 4 to 6, however many bank statements we are asking you for, whether it's an SBA loan of the last year's 12 months usually is what we ask for, or we're asking for line of credits, 3, 4 to 6 months, unsecured term loans, cash advances of all sorts, etc. But in an example, if we ask for 3 months of bank statements, and this is myself asking you for these, you can send them to me directly. I forwarded them over to the lender. But before I do any of that, I have to verify. I have to see all this. I have to ask, and I have to do the math. I have to know, is this person eligible? Well, you were insufficiently incapable because of the funds. You had non-sufficient funds, more than 5. You had more than 5 negative days, or any negative days within the last 3 months just disqualified you. You are bouncing checks, you are overdrawing, you're doing too much, and it's not going to help your case when it comes to the underwriting. So let's just pause there, and here's what I would recommend you do. Come back to me in 3 months when you have this all on a better scale. So revenue, all 3 bank statements, in this case 3, they must have a minimum revenue, right? So if I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what are the qualifications to get in? Well, it might be $5,000, it might be $15,000, it might be $25,000, it might be $30,000. So I need to see these things on bank statements, and if not there, elsewhere. So deposit numbers. So what are underwriters looking for? They are seeing about 3+ deposits, if not sometimes 5 to 7+, depending on the industry. And I get sometimes if we're in agriculture, we don't have that many, so we have season to season. So we might take a larger sample. Instead of a small sample size, we'll take a larger sample. We'll do about 12+ months of bank statements. Sometimes just 12 months is more than enough, so we can see it over a longer term. And we say, okay, this 3 months didn't happen. Okay, what happened in the next 3 months? How about the next 3 after that, and the next 3 after that? And so we're making an evaluation month to month by 3. 3 here, 3 there. Okay, this works. Jeremy has this. Lisa has this. Okay, she only had 1 negative day, but this lender will accept at least 1 negative day, but you can't have more than 5 non-sufficient funds. Or this lender says no, and this industry goes, no, we don't want to see you have negative days in the last 90 days. Self-explanatory. I'll make sure I let you guys know about this. And so a minimum of 3 monthly deposits, and the backing behind that is, if you deposited once, what does that tell you? And it could be industry specific. So if you relied on a truck, you're in the trucking industry, right? Supply chain shortages right now. Whoa, the demand is so high. Supply is a lot of domestic, less from the outside. Okay. And so what I'm seeing is, like, specifically in that industry, and I'm seeing it with a lot of other ones, less imports, more domestic these days, as I see a huge transition in the US. But if your truck, you only had 1 truck, that's hard enough to even give you money for. Like 1 truck, you want to get $50,000 in working capital for? Nope. It could work if you had stronger revenue and it was consistent, maybe over 3 months, maybe even a bit longer, especially in trucking. And what are our projection in the market, what's happening right now? So they're not lending as much. They're holding back. And if you only had 1 truck, what happens if your tire blows out? What happens if your engine goes? What happens to your 18-wheeler? What happens if you get sick? What happens if you have a John Deere and it doesn't work anymore? Oh, I have 2 other ones. Who's operating them? Why are they not operational? Why are they not on the ground yet? Well, I still have to hire two. Well, no, you're not getting funding. Your business is solely dependent on vehicles, or your business is dependent on a different type of like manufacturing, or it can be a different setup. But you don't have the supplies, you don't have the inventory. You have to be very careful about this. So frequent deposits per month, 3+, sometimes is a minimum, 5, 7+. I've seen 7 and above, specifically in certain industries. I know construction is really hard to get 7 and above, even 3. It's so difficult. I see it every day. I see all the bank statements. Like, why did you only deposit once or twice? Well, we only got paid like this, and now we're suffering with payroll. And I had to shut down an individual the other day. Excuse me, because they didn't tell me. There were like 3 people in the conversation. The other owner was in the background, and then I had somebody else I needed to talk to. But I spoke to one guy who is looking to acquire the business, and he didn't have all the information on the finances. So obviously he didn't know, but it's part of your, it's still part of your responsibility to know these things financially. So he didn't know that they defaulted. Yeah, they could have checked, but he didn't know. So I can't blame him 110%. It's not his fault, per se. I needed to hear that from the other people. And guess what? I didn't hear it. So we went through the application process then thinking, no, there wasn't a default. And come to think about it, yeah. We did the underwriting really quickly. I had to set him straight. I had to be like, hey, this is what happened. You didn't know about it. It's okay. But for future, this is what will happen. This is what can't happen. And now you're not open to receive funding from our private lenders. And just about any type of service, it's going to be difficult to get anything. And if you get anything, it'll be a very minimal amount. And they're going to say, here, prove it to me. Here's $10,000, pay it off in 3 months. And you're going to be given a high rate. You're going to be paying 20 and above. Total repayment, better prove yourself. You're giving that one chance, and that one chance can open the door up to say, hey, that same tier lender, that very low tier lender who took a chance on me, I'm so appreciative of. It wasn't the amount that I wanted. It wasn't going to always keep my doors 100% open, but it's what I wanted to do. I needed to take that chance, and then that same person may say, hey, Jeremy, hi, Sally. Yeah, you proved to me you can make the repayment. Instead of the $10,000, I'm going to give you $15,000 this time. Now you total $25,000. Maybe you paid it off early in 1 to 2 months. That's how you grow. Not this, but this guy offered me $500,000, $700,000 at one point. Yes, sure. But like I explained to a person just the other day who's, I'm sure is really busy today and I haven't heard a response from. I sent him a text as well as multiple others. This is what I would do. And this is the way you approach it. Not because somebody flashed this at you and said, hey, this is the route to go. You don't actually have a roadmap. What are they going to do after you pay this? Have you told you what to do? What's the next step? No. You don't have the right strategic partnerships. And that's what you guys need. Work with one lender, but that one lender can then refer you to another, or I can because I know other lenders who will. And they'll go, okay, yeah, now that unsecured term loan of $250,000 that we got you out of in 6 months now turned into an SBA loan. Instead of paying it for the full duration of 8 months, you were then given 1 year because you went to this lender. But because you're chasing a quick high, you're chasing quick money, you've never gotten out of that habit, out of that routine, it's very difficult for you to see. So this is tough love for you, if this is your wake-up call. And so over here, now we have number 3, transfer accounts. Like I just went over with you guys. Does not count as actual monthly revenue. I just went into an example like without showing you the actual bank statements because that's confidential information. But I see it all in a lot of different bank statements. When I saw that, I was a red flag. I had to turn the person down right away, give him a good explanation. He wasn't happy with it. Yeah, well, it's hard to accept things for what they are. And then number 4, negative days. So there are only 20 bank days per month if we do it on an average of 20 days. I know some people will say 21, 22. No, 20 will actually benefit you because you get to pay less. If we take out 1 day, it makes a big difference. So 20 as opposed to 21 or 22, etc., is much better. And so per month, and then 5 or more is an automatic decline. Okay? So we cannot accept that. So 5 or more is an automatic decline in negative bank days. So sometimes, like I said, in the last 90 days, we don't want to see any. If the average daily bank balance don't exceed that, well, it's much harder to say yes to. And then there are times where we don't want to see 5 or more. So you can have up to 5. You can have up to 3. in some cases, but not more than that. All right, and this stuff kind of changes. So the negative bank days, I have a few people I have to contact back on, because sometimes it's 90 days and then sometimes it's 5 days or more you can't qualify, and it's also industry specific. So that's where I see all these changes coming in. Now let me come to the next part. See if I can find it here. Okay. Number 5, negative month ending. Ending your month in a negative can either cause a file to decline or change the risk factors. So over an average, if we look at 3+ months of bank statements and we see that one is negative, but the 2 in front of it, your projections are going up, it can help. And then you're showing us that, oh, this month you're going to be positive and then the next month as well. So that still changes the risk. We might have to give you a greater rate, a bigger rate. We might have to lessen the terms, give you less funding. And there are a lot more things. So altered modified bank statements. So this goes without being said. This is fraud, and it is automatically declined, and you're placed in our data merge. That means that the lenders can actually see that you've applied in the past, you caused fraudulent activity, maybe you had a past default with the past default judgment in place, you're manipulating the bank statements, doing all these things to the lender where it's being really disrespectful, and you guys cannot get the funding you want. Number 7, personal bank statements. So your bank statements must include business name with some exceptions. I said this earlier, that you're not using a personal account for business unless you're a 1099 independent contractor. Then that's a bit different. It could change in time, but a business checking account is what you want under your business name, not a personal name you use for business, but your business checking account is what you want. And I can go even deeper into these, so watch that other video. Other merchant cash advance or just cash advance positions in general, if it's a hybrid, or it can be like lines of credit or other forms of financing. So this will change the offer significantly if you have other positions, and you won't get more than what you already received. I had to decline a person today because they already had too many positions and we couldn't come in another place. So that's just the situation. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to come over here. Are there independent contractor / sole proprietor opportunities for good credit scores with consistent revenue? Monthly deposits? Yeah, definitely. Like I just mentioned, there is one. If you're using your personal bank account for business, you can use this through a self-employed funding service that I have. And you guys can locate that in the bio. And that's like the only one you guys get options to. I've made comparisons. But even if you're not depositing strong amounts, you have to be doing at least $3,000 per month and above deposits, and what you do monthly revenue is a bit different. So if you're doing $3,000 and above within the last 3 months, then that's a service you'll want to look into. And there is no credit score check really, because of different factors that we look at. Your parents have had a business for 20 years. Awesome. It's a long time. But now have an option to buy the building they've been leasing. And you're looking for, I wouldn't be looking for a grant necessarily for that. I'm not sure they were going to want to lend for it. There has to be other reasoning behind it, especially if you have 20 years in business. They're going to ask more questions of why you're looking for a grant. But there are opportunities to go ahead and get funding for that. So I'll leave more information in the bio you guys can check out. And I'd go through the questionnaire, and I'd actually add this if you haven't in the additional notes. Hey, look who's in here. Gabriel, how are you doing? So now I'm going to open it up for any questions you guys may have. Feel free. I have a lot of people who... Oh man, you guys are going to get hit hard with that email today. It's going to hit you guys like a rock if you're that person, especially. I know, Gabriel, you're part of my email sequence, so at about 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, my time, an email will be sent out on getting your feedback for one thing specifically. And this is a very truthful email. It's not going to go to any links. Read it. Take the time to look at it, because when we work together, when anybody works with me, I want 100% transparency. I want 110% feedback. If I say, hey, in the beginning, before we start applying, I'm going to need your feedback on what you thought about this. Or, hey, when we get into the application now and we're in underwriting, I'm going to need to reach out to you, so I need your feedback. When we get to an offer or something else changes where you didn't receive it or you weren't happy with it, I need your feedback. But I will not accept you if you say, well, I'm not going to say anything back, or you need to take a little bit of time to come up with your thoughts. Yeah, but don't become a ghost. Don't just 3 months down the road, yeah, you responded, but 3 months down the road, where the heck were you 3.5 months ago? Where were you then when I needed to hear back why you didn't accept that SBA loan? Why didn't you want to go for that unsecured term loan option? Why didn't you want to exercise this option? Instead of, like right now, I have multiple millions upon millions of SBA deals. These people are going cold. I can't even send them a text without them getting a response back to me, without an email, without a direct message, without a phone call. Leave them a voicemail once every other 2 to 3 weeks, not even every week, not even bothering them. But they have the tenacity to just, I'm busy. Yeah, we're busy too. I have 3+ businesses I have to run. What is your legitimate excuse? If this was important enough for you, you'd take the time to do it, right? If you were considerate of somebody else, you do it. But is this the way you treat your own customers? Do you maybe not know how to treat your own clientele, your own customers? They expect an answer. They want feedback from you. Why should I be any different? I've taken the time to understand you. I want to know who you are personally. It's not like I just went into this for money. No, I'm going at this on a personal level. But don't waste my energy and my time. That's what I'm going to say to that. Yes, it is possible to buy a car wash. It can be an SBA acquisition, or it can be another form. I just have to have the details. In the bio, there's a questionnaire. Don't fill out the business's details. If you're in a business right now, fill out your existing business's details. And then in the additional notes, you can give me more information on the specifics of this car wash. I'm trying to get it. It's for $1.75 million. I have the papers for this. And then I can take a better look. These people here, I don't even know what they're doing. At least the other guy who didn't even know. I have a few people right now who I'm not at the peak of knowing how to run technology. I'm not that person, but they were having troubles downloading their bank statements, and that's fine. Not all of us know how to do all that. It's okay. I get it. But at the very least, they're taking the time. They're texting me, "Hi, Michael, I just sent you the bank statements. Oh, I got them. Thanks. I'm sending them over to the lender." Not a big pain in the you-know-what when people just don't even answer a simple email, a text message. If we have to give you a call, why the heck are you applying to begin with? Oh, but I just changed my mind. You don't understand me. No, you don't even understand yourself. If you're doing all of this, I've set the expectation that if you've seen my material in the past, I say don't go in apply just to apply. Stop doing that. It looks bad with you, especially if you didn't get an offer. Like, it looks bad. And when you get an offer, it's even worse. They see that you applied so many times. I told the guy the other day the reality is he got a response back from another company, and it's just pretty difficult for him to go with that option, because that's the reality of what he qualifies for. And if you don't like that, it's just, hey, if this money is useful to you, the benefit exceeds your repayment, then take the chance on going forward with it. But if it's going to hurt you, your cash flow, it won't put you in a better position in a week or in a month and 2+ months from today, then don't do it. But don't start seeking, somebody offered me $600,000 at 40%, and I needed that amount. Yeah, but they're not strategic. This is the strategic partnership you want to get with. Even if it wasn't $500,000, even if it was just a bit underneath and more conservative, the difference is we can try to get you out of that much faster and get you a more feasible and a more attractive solution. I work with all types of businesses. I've seen them all, honestly. There's probably some out there that I haven't. Maybe they're just coming up new, or it's just so underground I haven't even seen it. But I know what happens when you have to go to a direct lender, if that's the way, or we go through multiple. We're not like getting you to multiple lenders and saying we're shooting your information out to everybody. We're not doing that. We're saying, hey, we can get you the best offer from multiple lenders. That's a difference. We're not saying we're going to send this information and use it against you, or anybody's going to start calling you, or your credit's going to be impacted. It's a soft pull. It's not a hard pull. When it's a hard pull, you'll know, and we'll probably tell you at that point. And so don't think it's because of that. I have a lot of people who are like, I had a bank call me, I had another lender call me. It didn't come from me. It didn't come from our source. The thing is, you probably put your information out for somebody to find it. And because of the timing of the market and the banks being more restrictive, they're trying to get you back in there. And so all these things are happening at that time. So I'm going to go for about 5 or so more minutes. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of these files right now, and I'm not thinking it at this moment, but headaches. Don't be a headache. That's all I'm saying. Is just, let's try to make our process as smooth. I know that's what your outcome wants. I know that's what I want in an outcome, is just make it smooth. If you could just make it smooth enough, I'm all for it. Just don't start something you cannot end. You became a ghost. Oh my God. Why do I have to play this chase? I don't have to play this chasing game. I don't have to spend my energy and time on you. Somebody else needs it. Why are you getting to this point and I haven't received anything? Like, it's one thing to tell me, like, this wasn't what you wanted, but it's a whole nother thing when I didn't even hear a word from you. And then you come back 3 months later and go, hey, is that offer still on the table? And I don't even respond back to you. Or I will, but it's just not the response you'll want. So I'm a one-man show here, guys. This is my business that I run. I have 2 other ones currently. I'll get to those a little bit later. But don't... And this is my focus. This is my major focus. So please... Please. Like, I want to wake up in the mornings and think Sally or Jim made this such an easy process. Like, I had a lady who came in who got an offer for $600K, takes $150K to start with. I won't get into the reasons, but that's an amazing way to go. And she didn't get one of these SBA loans. She didn't get a term loan. She got this cash advance. It's a hybrid, not a merchant cash advance traditionally, but that was the best thing she could have done. And at that time. So it's not necessarily because you do more in revenue. It doesn't mean you have to get an SBA loan, or sometimes you need faster funding. Sometimes you just need it now, or you just need to do it this way. I don't want to be in debt that much longer. I don't want to be in debt for 10 years. This project doesn't require a longer return on investment, a bigger ROI with bigger projects. Something much shorter. I just need to get it done. I need to add payroll. I need to get some new machines. They're going to be running for me in the next 6-7 months, or in the next 15 months. Everything will be cleared. Pay this off probably early, got 18 months out of the way, done. I can come back and get more if I need it. So 2 more minutes. I had a few appointments today I couldn't attend, guys. Sorry if you were one and I haven't responded back. I've been really busy. Not that I don't want to. And I'll usually let you know if I can't make it, but lately I've just been flooded. So I might just change some of my calendar. Well, not everybody will be given that opportunity to schedule, because right now I have a lot of stuff. But just know that it's because I've been busy. Like productive busy. Like new content, other people who need something, and then I have to spend a little bit of time on this, other projects that I'm working on. So you are very important. It's just sometimes I have to do things. 1 more minute. And for all the information, you guys can go to viralfundingsolutions.com. And if you guys need expertise help, that'll be all found there. All the information you guys can get to is from that homepage. And then you have the services tab. I see it right here. If you want to learn a little bit about me. My blog. So my blog, if you were to click it right now, it will take you to my previous site that I built. And that's kind of where I have all my material and all the experiences. I wanted to put it underneath that, at least for now. So that will take you from, oh, I got to move this page, don't I? All right, I see what happened. Oh, there it is. Okay. So once you click on blog, it'll take you to my blog on viral home-based pursuit. So that's kind of where I have all the experiences of different programs and everything that I've been reviewing. It may transition over in time to Viral Funding Solutions. Is she a part owner? Well, we want to know all owners first and foremost, so you may need another signature. But the majority, 51% and above, that's who we really want. Hi, Dan. How are you doing? Yeah, majority. Ah, okay. Yeah, if I haven't, I'm going to make a note of that right now. And you kind of moved up to the top now. You're welcome. The problem I have, you heard me say this, so I don't want to sound redundant. Flooded right now. So take that how you want. But I have a lot of stuff right now, like a lot of emails, and I'm getting to them. Like I'll do more of them today. I'll try to get as many as I can. But now that I know that, and was this for the email or was this for the questionnaire, just so I can go and see it rather quickly? So I'm going to get going, guys, in a little bit. I said about a minute ago. But yeah, if you can let me know. Usually when people are more responsive, that's good. Because I'll move you guys to the top. Like other people who just, what the hell, like this person just submits a questionnaire and they disappeared. Or they needed help, but they didn't respond back in weeks. The heck? Didn't even acknowledge my email at least. Like say, hey, I can't respond this. That's what I'll do sometimes. I can't respond right now, but I'll give you more response later on. Okay, thanks. But it's when people just. The thing I want to tell you guys is don't just shop around. Stop shopping around. I have business owners who have come back to me and they go, "What do you think about this offer? I received this offer. This." What do you think about God, just don't do it. It's just not good. And the sources you're going to go and apply to, you might not have a strategic partnership. So if you don't like my answer, it's honestly the truth of what you're getting. But what else you're getting yourself into, it may not be best. Just because they offered you more, this and that, doesn't mean it's the best. You're not looking at it from a long-term relationship. You're looking at it from something quick. Stop looking at money quick. Look at it as a relationship with other people. So there's an equation to this. You plus money equals relationship. You plus relationship equals money. It isn't the other way around where it's just, I need my money, boom, let me go. What people do is they'll get money and then they don't end up responding back. Like I just follow up, hi John, how are things going in your business? Oh no, whatever. It's the truth. Yeah, like I said, everybody, quote unquote, wants a piece of me in a good way. Not like I want to. Some people are probably like, I want to just put these knuckles into him so I can get his attention. And you have it. It's just I don't get to an email right away. Like I'm not doing administrative tasks. Like you're a business owner. Are you doing administrative tasks in the morning? Are you doing them at 7? Is that your growth task? No. Yeah, it helps. Sometimes you do have to. You have to get a move on it. But I'm working on content. I'm doing other things for you guys that is going to pay off even more for you. Even if there's not a quick response, you're going to be so happy. You're like, oh, well, I'm happy you did take the time to make that. Now, around 1 or 2 or even a little bit later than that, I'll be responding to emails. But now that I see it, what specifically were you sending me? And there are a lot of people right now, and this is great. Like, you want somebody who is telling you this. Don't think it's like, oh, well, I'm going to go to somebody else who doesn't have the time for me. Don't do that. Wrong. Buzzer. That's just a way of saying, hey, I'm just looking for a quick high, a quick win. Don't look for quick wins. With money like this, you guys should not be looking for quick wins. You guys need marathons, not sprints. You have to get there, yes, but you have to continue the circuit. Run 4 laps. Pace yourself. Now pick up the pace. Andale. Move. And so, if you're not willing to take the time to do that or you haven't learned to, right now is probably the best time. Take the time to read that book. Take the time to understand personal development a little bit more. And that'll help. So I'm going to give it about, let's see, we have another comment. Everything is usually personal guarantees, guys, when it comes to even secured and unsecured. So just check it. And the difference that it makes when you get no personal guarantees in most business credit cards is when you've built enough. And then especially if you're moving into like those corporate cards later on, even higher ones that are not as mainstream as you would like to call them, then that's where you can kind of get away from all that. So I'm going to give it a good 30 more seconds. It's funny how I always do this and I go 1 more minute and then everybody just starts questioning or a new person jumps in. They didn't hear me say it. But I'm in my emails right now. I want to go through these. So whether it's a personal guarantee or not, at the end of the day, you have to look at it as an investment in your future and not be scared of the risk of putting up a personal guarantee. That's just the bottom line, especially if you're looking at business, like business credit cards. In a way, you can get over it, and then in lines of credits, sometimes you can. But when you're looking at business funding, as in like a cash advance, unsecured term loans, even SBA loans, like, yeah, we want to see this. How are we getting our money back? What are we, like, you should be held liable. That's a given. For getting this flexibility, we require a personal guarantee. It's just very common, guys. It's not like, and I get it. We may have things that show up in our personal. I get it. I get why people ask those questions. There's a lot of reasons, but you have to face the reality. And if that's one hard reality to face, you have to make adjustments. It just shows you're not ready to make the adjustment. It shows that you're not financially in a better place to take that risk. So low risk, low rewards, high risk, high rewards. And sometimes high risk comes with a lower reward if you're not doing the right things. So about 20 more seconds. I'm in my Google Doc. I'm going to take a break, get myself a quick snack, probably some salami and cheese that we have in the fridge from Costco. You guys know what I'm talking about. Get some water, just right there. Probably get a protein bar. Come back. Or no, I'm going to go sit at the couch for a little bit, probably watch a little bit of YouTube. Just to, it takes my mind off. I've been working all day. No break, honestly. Watch a little bit of replays. And then go on a jog by about 3:30. It's usually my time that I like going. come back for 4:30. From about 4 to 8, I'll take a big break, probably hang around the house on the hammock, or go out and do a few things. Probably go out to eat. Come back maybe about 9. I'll check a little bit of emails, probably start responding to more of them. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, but that's everything from me. Appreciate you all for being here today. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate you all, and always respectful to me as I am to you guys. If you guys are a part of my broadcasts, my email sequence, expect, like I said, there to be one that goes out about 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Central, Eastern, you'll get it at that time. But it'll be a huge wake-up call. If you're this certain individual who's doing these things, I hope you would change that if that's you. If it's not, great. You're doing the right things, and I know who you are. But if you have those tendencies, I think it's best that you start changing them, or work with somebody who's going to be less influential and less helpful to you. All right, so that's everything for myself. Take care, guys. Bye.